Good afternoon, class. Today I thought I'd start out with a slight joke in the trumpet field. How do two trumpet players greet each other?
High fives.
Actually, yes. Hi, I'm better than you. Yes. I thought it was pretty funny. All right, so we're going to look at PH.
That was it?
That was it. Yeah,
All
she
right,
got it.
well done.
Nice job, Mary. So we're looking at exercise 71. There's a lot of dynamic contrast. There's piano, which is very soft like this. And so forth. So that's very soft. I could play it loud too, but I don't want to blow you all out of the room right now. Okay, so I'm going to pinpoint one of the hardest things to do. Since this is in the slow 6, it is very hard to get into a groove with. It's very easy, I mean, to get into a groove with it. So we're going to look at measures 1 and 2. Don't worry about the pickup measure there. And I mainly want that transition from 1 to 2. So that beat 4 going to the beat 1 of the next measure is very weird. I'm going to play it once. I want you all to observe what I'm doing. Okay. So, can anyone tell me what I did there? Just for starters? Anybody?
You put an accent on the 16th in measure 2.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The rhythm is also a little different. We're going to be doing da-dee-da quite often, so it's going to be easy just to do da-dee-da on there. So we got to do dee-da-da. Okay. All right, let's just start it from measure. We'll just start from the beginning. We'll just play through the first ending, then we'll stop right at that first ending, or right after. Okay?
Can we find our starting pitch, please?
Yes, absolutely. The starting pitch is a C. I'll start it with you, and then I'll cut off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. All right. So, just for starters, we did not have very much dynamic contrast. It was kind of just a straight line of a mezzo piano. We probably can even get a little softer. To play quieter, we will need to support even more air. It takes a good trumpet player to play soft. It takes a decent trumpet player to play really loud. Okay, so let's try just a little softer. Also, fingering-wise, Kaylee, I noticed we were, let's see, in measure 2 going into 3, we got a little lost. That's okay. I saw that you stumbled on that A coming off to that G to that F there. So that is 1 and 2 open first. Let's just try it again though. This is just our first run through it, okay? Start at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Missing those decrescendos. I want you to really make them dramatic. So when we're crescendoing, let's supply it even with more air to make it even louder and stronger. I want you to be, we're triumphant trumpets. There's a reason we're called trumpets, because we're triumphant. Let's be that triumphant trumpet, okay? Let's try it again from the beginning. This time we'll keep going. I will jump in if I feel that we're kind of stumbling, and then we'll work on it. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Crescendo. That was very good. There are a couple things we need to work on, some tuning issues. When we're getting to that F, we're all not really in tune with each other. F is a weird partial up there. We gotta really hear it in our head. So can everyone just play that F with me? That's a F. Okay. It's very easy with that F just to miss it. We just gotta remember that perfect fourth going from that C to that F. All right, we're gonna move on.
I'm gonna call a quick pause right now, just because I know we're trying to keep this around the 10-minute mark, and you're already around 6 or 7 minutes right now. So with your last 3 or 4 minutes, which performance issue would you want to focus in on the most? Note accuracy, fingering accuracy, dynamic contrast, intonation, something else? Pick one of those to really kind of zero in on us with that you think is the most appropriate next step.
Okay. All right.
And action.
All right. We're just going to start from the beginning again. This time I really want you to focus on note accuracy and getting those fingerings down. Okay? If you miss a note, keep going. We'll go back to it. We'll fix it, okay? Start from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stumbling still. It's a repeated melody often, as you know, a folk song does repeat itself. Let's just look at that first measure after that second ending. I notice it gets in the higher range up there. So we have quite a bit of arpeggios there on the F. So let's try that one more time. Can everyone just play the arpeggio first, though? Let's start in the high C. All right. Let's just start on that measure again. Let's try aim for those arpeggios, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just finish out this song. Let's end on that beautiful F chord. Okay? So we're just going to start, pick up that third system there. Okay? Or actually, yeah, just start in that third system. So, dee da da da, dee da. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Joshua. And yes, the lesson thus endeth. But let's provide some feedback to our teacher. I have a couple things that I want to chime in on, but I'd like to get your thoughts first. And Mary or Kaylee, if you could offer some insights on what you thought worked well, what you would have liked to heard more of, or well, what are your thoughts, Joshua? First of all,
I think I was hoping for too much. I had my expectations a little too high.
Remember, we're sight reading.
Yeah. For sight reading, I probably should have had lower expectations and focused on.
When you say lower expectations, what do you mean?
Not outrageous expectations for just sight reading this for the first time. So
rather than dynamics and intonation,
instead of setting it for my expectations, I set it for our reasonable students' expectations, and I set it for my expectations. That was bad of me.
Well, I wouldn't say it was bad. I would just say that you had a lot of performance issues to choose from, and I'm curious what Mary or Kaylee might suggest what did you feel was the most pressing concern for your performance?
If trouble were with fingering, you might just want to take it slower and maybe not focus on the piano dynamic first, since that is more of a challenge. Just play it comfortably, volume.
Maybe a slower tempo?
Slower.
Yeah, I think that would have also been my suggestion, because if I go fast, I have a tendency to revert back to baritone, and I start to play everything a step down.
Uh-huh.
So,
On that note, I would, if I were in your shoes, I would, you noticed that, Kaylee and I were missing a couple notes. And after our first run through, you mentioned, hey, I noticed you missing these notes. I would suggest in the future, assume notes are going to be missed when your beginners are sight reading something for the first time.
Yeah.
Rather than pointing out, I noticed you missed those notes, just say, all right, well, let's try it again and focus on that F, make sure it's this finger. So basically, give us some helpful advice without pointing out all the ways that we know we have to get better.
Okay. All right.
I wonder what would have happened if Joshua had asked us just to say the note names, or better yet, maybe sing the note names while we fingered it. Would that have identified some of your fingering concerns, Kaylee? Or did you have fingering concerns?
well,
Or was it more of an articulation concern?
no, it was definitely fingerings, but it's not that I don't know. Because sometimes I think in concert pitch, so I start to play, like, oh, that's a G. This isn't a G on trumpet.
No, it's not.
So, like,
Right.
it happens when I go fast, because then my brain's like, starts to revert to less muscle memory and less of a conscious effort to play trumpet and not baritone.
Right. But whether
So-
she's thinking of a different 3-valve instrument in her mind than the trumpet, or whether she's a kid who's still learning how to read treble clef, I would recommend, if you hear us missing notes, it's not a chipped articulation, it's just a finger is not in the right place. If I'm working with beginners, I'm probably going to do something like, hey everyone, can you just sing and show me their note names, like C, F, G, F, G, A, C, A, G. If they can't sing the note, if they can't say the note name and put the fingering down, then you know they're probably not going to be able to buzz and play the correct pitch as well. If singing isn't yet a comfortable area for your students, you could at least ask them to say the note name. C, F, F, G, F, G, A, C, A, G, or maybe even slower than that. Rhythmically, I don't think we had any trouble, but I think Kaylee kind of hit it on the head there. It was really just getting the fingers to go in the right places for the notes was probably your top priority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, any other suggestions, feedback? Cool.
And something positive, your modeling is excellent.
Modeling was great. All of your feedback was 100% accurate and necessary. I just want you to think about what would be the most important next
Perhaps
step
just refine.
rather than dynamics.
Okay.
Those are things that need to be addressed too. All right, thanks, Joshua. Kaylee, can you go sit yourself up?